Donald Trump just wrapped up a press conference in the Oval Office where he refused to take any questions from the press regarding the 20,000 Jeffrey Epstein emails that were released earlier today by the Democrats in the House Oversight Committee. Donald Trump ranted and raved like a lunatic on a number of topics as he was signing this continuing resolution into law, which will take away health care from 20 million Americans. But what the reporters wanted to ask him is nothing about the lunatic ranting and raving that he was doing. Can you tell us about your response to being all over these Epstein emails? 20,000 of them, and your name appears over and over again in the most devastating fashion. You'll see Donald Trump refuses to answer. Watch this.
Mr. President, can you respond to these Epstein emails that were released today?
Well done, Mr. President. Great job.
More questions were being asked by the press. Donald Trump refused to answer. Here, play this clip.
Thanks for guiding us through.
But what did Donald Trump want to talk about? Well, he wanted to lie to the American people that prices are down and that he defeated inflation and that everything is amazing and that all Americans are rich, because he thinks that you're stupid. He thinks that you're dumb. He thinks that we don't know that he's covering up a child sex trafficking ring with the MAGA Republicans and that he's destroying our country. Listen to what he says. Look how pathetic and vile this human being is. Here, play this clip.
The federal government will now resume normal operations, and my administration and our partners in Congress will continue our work to lower the cost of living, restore public safety, grow our economy, and make America affordable again for all Americans. Again, costs are way down. Energy is way down. Gasoline is at $2.50 a gallon versus $4.70 for the Democrats. And we think we're going to hit pretty close to $2 a gallon. That's like a really massive tax cut. It's the equivalent of that.
And then he says he wants to thank Walmart because Walmart said that its Thanksgiving price list this year is 25% cheaper than under former President Biden, except for the fact that under Biden, they had 21 items and brand names, and now they only have 14 items and generic Walmart value save brands. So it's actually showing that we're in a massive, massive economic harmful condition right now. Play this clip. This is what he's talking about. Like we're all stupid. Like we all don't know when we go into the supermarket that things are far more expensive. We're not dumb, Donald. We know the harm you're causing us all. Here, play this clip.
And also I want to thank Walmart because they came up with a fantastic study. It was the cost of Thanksgiving coming up and the cost of Thanksgiving from a year ago under Sleepy Joe Biden. And we're 25% lower this year than we were a year ago. And it's a very inclusive report. So I want to thank Walmart. They've done it for many years, but we believe in that, and we believe in that company.
And then Donald Trump says, we need to eliminate the filibuster. Eliminate the filibuster, everybody. How about you tell us why the hell you're all over these Epstein emails in the most disgusting and grotesque way fathomable? Here, play this clip.
I also want to call for a termination to the filibuster so that this can never happen again. If we had the filibuster terminated, this would never happen again. And don't forget, we have another date coming up in the not too distant future. We can never let this happen again. And we should be able to pass great, really great legislation. So I say terminate the filibuster because, by the way, the Democrats will do it immediately if they ever assumed office, which hopefully they won't.
Then Donald Trump, again, thinks we're stupid. And he's like, the Democrats were the ones who cut the food stamp benefits. We're not stupid, Donald. We know that you literally went to the highest court in the United States, the Supreme Court, and filed emergency briefs demanding that they not release these SNAP benefits. You had Democratic attorney generals throughout the country and Democrats fighting to release SNAP benefits. And your strategy was to starve Americans to death. You think we don't realize that you went to the Supreme Court and demanded they block the SNAP payments? Like, like, do you think we're that dumb? The same way you must think we don't realize why you're all over those Epstein files and why you're covering up for a pedophile ring. Here, play this clip.
They caused 20,000 flights to be canceled or delayed. They departed so many times, so late. People were hurt so badly. Nobody's ever seen anything like this one. This was a no-brainer. This was an easy extension. But they didn't want to do it the easy way. They had to do it the hard way. And they look very bad, the Democrats do. They deprived more than 1 million government workers from their paychecks and cut off food stamp benefits for millions and millions more Americans in need. They caused tens of thousands of federal contractors and small businesses to go unpaid. And the total effect of the damage their antics caused will take weeks and probably months to really calculate accurately, including the serious harm that they did to our economy and to people and to families. So I just want to tell the American people, you should not forget this. When we come up to midterms and other things, don't forget what they've done to our country. Also,
more from Donald Trump right here. And he says, so what we're going to do today is insurance companies should not be paid at all. And we're going to give massive amounts of money directly to the people, and they're going to buy their own health care. The people will buy their own. Are you dumb, Donald? Do you know how this works? There has to be insurance in some form or fashion. People don't buy their health care. They go and get medical procedures, you idiot. And that costs money. And you know why people have insurance? Because if they get into a serious issue or have a serious accident, they can't afford to spend $5,000, $10,000, $100,000, $1 million or more on these procedures. So that's why you have insurance. So you either have the government insuring, or you have private insurance, or you have some hybrid, but you don't just write a check to people for $2,000 and say, go buy your health care. That's not the way it works, okay? And we need to have serious solutions right now. So here's what Donald Trump says. And by the way, he's not giving $2,000. Remember when he claimed he was going to give $5,000 for Doge dividends? He's just a fraudster. He's no different except on an exponential scale than Bernie Madoff, right? He's just a Ponzi schemer, except Trump's Ponzi scheme is $23 trillion of lies, where Bernie Madoff's was $64 billion. Play this clip.
But it all includes fixing the healthcare system that Democrats broke with the disaster known as Obamacare. Obamacare was a disaster from day one. It's done nothing but go up. And if you remember President Barack Hussein Obama, when he came up with this crazy idea, he said everything's going to be great. Rates are going to go down. Payments are going to go down. Everything's going to go down. It went the exact opposite, with the biggest increase of healthcare in any country. It's a disaster. And I'm calling today for insurance companies not to be paid, but for the money, this massive amount of money, to be paid directly to the people of our country so that they can buy their own healthcare, which will be far better and far less expensive than the disaster known as Obamacare. And I've had, I think, great support. I've even had Democrat support. So we want the money that would be going to the insurance company, which is hundreds of billions of dollars. You know, their stock prices have gone up by 1,000% in many cases, 1,000% over a short period of time, because our country stupidly pays them so much money with this Obamacare scandal. So I want the money to go directly to you, the people. And you go out and you'll buy your own health insurance, and you'll negotiate different plans, and you'll get much better insurance, and you will be an entrepreneur for yourself.
More from Donald Trump saying, we're going to pay the people the money. We're going to eliminate Obamacare, and we're going to pay the people the money. What do you mean you're going to pay the people the money? What the hell are you talking about? You're going to give them the money? Are you going to tell them that you have to buy healthcare with the money? What if they need the money because they can't afford groceries right now? And then when they're sick, they can't afford the procedures. How are they going to do surgeries with $2,000? Moron, here, play this clip.
And we're willing to pay so much money to the people. So we're going to pay a lot of money to the people. They're going to go out and buy their own health care. And we're going to forget this Obamacare madness.
Sorry, I'm just getting angry, but I'm just watching like the stupidest human being imaginable, and such a vile, dangerous, pathetic human being. And it's just like, ugh. So I get worked up, but this is just despicable behavior right here. And here Donald Trump talks about how we're going to make everything affordable again. He says costs are way down. Again, another lie. Play this clip.
The federal government will now resume normal operations, and my administration and our partners in Congress will continue our work to lower the cost of living, restore public safety, grow our economy, and make America affordable again for all Americans. Again, costs are way down. Energy is way down. Gasoline is at $2.50 a gallon versus $4.70 for the Democrats. And we think we're going to hit pretty close to $2 a gallon. That's like a really massive tax cut. It's the equivalent of that.
Now, can we get to the reality right now? Can we talk about what's really going on? So here's Democratic Congress member McGovern. Here's his speech, and he talks about what was in this disastrous continuing resolution. Play this clip.
What the hell is wrong with them? While regular people are struggling to pay bills, Donald Trump's net worth has gone up by $3 billion since he became president. People's health insurance premiums are doubling and tripling, but Republicans say there is no affordability crisis, even as their tariffs are costing people an extra $1,200 per year. Regular people can't afford the rent, and Republicans are letting Trump gild his bathroom and build a ballroom to host the rich and powerful elites who own the GOP. These guys are bailing out Argentina. They're giving $40 billion to an entirely different country rather than helping the 42 million Americans who can't afford to put food on the table. And here's the clincher, Mr. Speaker. Buried in this CR is a corrupt kickback for 8 Republican senators, $1 million payday funded by taxpayers, taken straight from the Treasury and deposited directly into their pockets. What the hell is wrong with this place? They promised to put America first. The only thing you guys put first is yourselves. Yourselves and the rich and powerful people who pull your strings behind the scenes.
But the corrupt MAGA Republicans like Lindsey Graham, they don't give a crap. They literally put a provision in this continuing resolution that allows them to file a lawsuit against the government that taxpayers will have to pay for because their phone numbers appeared. They weren't wiretapped. They weren't eavesdropped. Their numbers appear in subpoenas because they were calling Donald Trump during the January 6th insurrection. And now they're like, Arctic frost, I've been injured. I want $1 million. Here's what Lindsey Graham says. These MAGA Republican senators are stealing our money. They're stealing your money and they think you're dumb. These Republicans hate you. They hate the United States of America. Here, play this clip.
So that's be filing a lawsuit.
Oh, definitely. And if you think I'm going to sell this thing for $1 million, no. I want to make it so painful no one ever does this again.
And I want to give credit, though, to Democratic Congressmember Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie, Republican, for this discharge petition that was signed on the day that all these emails were released as well from Jeffrey Epstein. Here is what Massie and Khanna just said on CNN. Play this clip.
Wait, I got to give credit to Lauren Boebert to walk into the White House, the center of power, the free world, really, and to sustain that and to come back out and to be solid, and also to Nancy Mace and Marjorie Taylor Greene. There was all the speculation that they might take their names off, and they never did. So it's not a hoax. It's not a moot point. It is a very serious thing. There are 1,000 victims, and there are survivors who have had a press conference with Ro Khanna and I, and that's what we're fighting for, justice for them.
Did y'all talk to them at any point during this, as the White House was making clear they were targeting these members?
I talked to them. I don't want to say which one I had this conversation with, but one of them was told, we can't let Massie have a win. How petty is that? I mean, this is more than about political wins. It's about getting transparency and justice, which, by the way, this administration promised. You have the vice president, J.D. Vance, you have the AG, you have the FBI director. They've all done a 180 on this.
So the White House said to one of these members that they didn't want you to have a win here.
That's correct.
And here's another clip of them right here. Let's play it.
Since he's the Republican House Speaker, he's calling it totally pointless exercise and completely moot What do you make of his comments? Do you agree with those?
Well, the White House spent a lot of effort in the midst of a shutdown to stop a totally pointless exercise that's completely mute.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. I'm ready to fight. How about you?
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.